You know what I mean?
Focus. Live. Keep growing. What's going on, car guys and car gals? Good morning. This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And this is Fred, the subprime hero.
That's
What's going on?
We are Brewing Solutions. Good morning. We got something special that's going inside of your cup today. So make sure that you tag a car guy, tag a car gal, and share. Let's get this around. We are about to turbocharge this brew.
Oh, man.
How excited are you, Fred?
I'm excited. You know, there's something about caffeination, but when you throw a little turbocharge in this caffeination, woo, Car Guy Coffee is elite at that point. And we're excited to have our guests in the office today, in the cafe today, in here brewing solutions, sharing ideas, sharing his past, sharing his drive. I'm excited to see what this man is all about. He's become a good friend of ours. We've had the opportunity to meet him a few times now. He's been through a lot of things recently, but he's all about his family. And that's what we're about. And when we can find other people that are on that same mission, on that same vibe as us, same frequency, there's nothing better than that because it amplifies. It becomes bigger. It becomes greater. And one thing that Troy has been doing for many years is doing great things for his great community of automotive and many other things, actually. This guy's actually got his fingers in a lot of things right now, but automotive is his home. And we're so excited to have him here today, man. I'm pumped.
I'm pumped up. And there's another great thing about him is that he's so trying to think of the word. We're just going to go with swagalicious. Okay.
Yeah,
He's got some swag about
it.
him.
He knows the
and
deal.
we really, really just honor his flow. We honor how he loves people, and we honor actually what he is to this industry. And that's why we are brewing with him today. I can't believe that we haven't had him on the show so far, but this is the perfect time for you to get some of that turbocharged brew. Folks,
man, we were trying to get him on at Digital Dealer just back in, but he was busy. We were busy. It was a crazy show. But man, we got to speak with him multiple times. He was wearing the Forgive Focus Fly shirt when he landed in Vegas. We got to see him. We even got a picture with him with that shirt on. I actually used that for this post for the promo. I love this guy. Honestly, the more I speak with him, the more I become I feel like he's family to me. Like the more I want to become more of what he does. I want to be involved with what he's doing. And he's doing the same thing with us. And man, does that make me feel good. That lets me know that we're on the right place. We're going on the right mission because he sees that inside of us too.
If we run into Troy, we're doing something right.
That's it, man.
Hang out with him.
That's it. And I know one thing. He when he finds friends and he finds people that he networks with, he holds them tight and dear, and he's definitely going to be a loyal person. So I'm excited to be around him. I'm excited to interview him. Let's get him up, man. Let's do this. I got to get him on here.
Car guys and car gals, help us to make welcome the one, the only Mr. Troy Spring.
Yeah, that's right. What's up, Troy? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Dude, we are pumped up. We're excited. We just got back in town from a nice trip across this country, going seeing some of our dealer partners. And man, we're back here excited. It's Friday morning, and it's a great way to end our work week with our man, Troy Spring. Brother, you're an amazing person, man. And I'm just honored to have you here, man. We love you, and we're just excited. So welcome to the cafe, brother.
Man, I'll tell you what, I feel like just listening to that intro, guys, like it matters, that's what it's all about, to hear those kind words. And, I kind of vibed with you guys right away because I felt like you're so authentic. And,
thank you.
To me, that's what it's all about. So just a successful morning for me already, just with that swagalicious intro. So anyways, man, I'm so happy to be here and chat with you guys, get to know you even a little bit better. But it has been cool. It's been a cool ride to get to know you a little bit over the last couple of months. And so let's get into this thing, man. I'm excited.
Heck yeah, we are ready to do that. Brother, it is such an honor to have you inside of the cafe today. And folks, I want to make sure that you do understand the quality and the caliber of a car guy that we have inside of the building right now. Inside of the building, he's in his building, we're inside of ours.
Inside the cafe.
We are all together inside of the Car Guy Cafe.
That's
but
it.
We want to say welcome
cafe.
to those that are joining us. Keep tagging car guys, tagging car gals, drop some coffee cup emojis up in there. Let's get this algorithm shaken up so that plenty of people can hear the incredibleness that's coming from the one, the only Mr. Troy Spring. What's going on, Charles Higgins and my man Mike Higdon? What's happening?
Good morning,
fellas?
Mike.
So
yes,
good to see you all today. Thank you for
Good
joining
morning,
us.
everyone.
Will not be
folks.
Disappointed.
If you got questions, please do drop them in the comment section. We'll try to get to them as soon as possible. But man, we got some questions for this guy too. But before we do any questions, before we go any further, before we do anything else,
3 steps.
There is 3 letters. Well, actually, it's 1 letter, but it's 3 words. It's forgive, focus, and fly, my friends. And we need to go through this. This is a secret handshake of ours that we've done before. I've seen Troy do it. He's seen us do it at when we got a chance to speak at his event. Man, we've been having fun. We've masterminded with this guy. We've traveled. We've been through different booths. We've been to different events. And man, he's special, folks. So let's get this thing going. The forgive, focus, and fly. You know the deal.
You know the deal, Troy. You know how to do these moves. You also know how to rock that shirt with that good groove. So let's get this rocking on 3. Car guys and car gals, hands on the shoulders. If you're driving, you can do the 1. You can have 1, 2, 3. Forgive, focus,
fly, and keep growing. Keep growing.
Yeah,
that's it, man.
What I'm talking
Welcome to the club, Troy. You've always been in it. You've been an official solutionary the whole time, but now you're certified, my friend. And
I love it, man.
Happy here, man. We're excited to be pumped up and positive with you, man. Honor. We do got some great people. You got Matthew Kelly saying what's up to you. You got Eric. Eric is a good friend of mine. He's running his own podcast now. He just started it. I'm proud of this guy. He's all about the service drive, man, and he's big deal. I'm really proud of Eric. Eric is somebody that I consider myself as a slight mentor for, and I love that I get a chance to pour into him. He actually did the 75 hard challenge and lost over 40 pounds, bro.
Holy mackerel! Congrats,
life-changing, man.
Awesome
Eric,
job,
that's
man.
amazing. He did a great job, and I'm proud of him, man. And he's got such a positive attitude. He's somebody that I can't wait. Hopefully, I can make your show on Sunday early in the morning. Maybe Lou and I could both be there. It's before our wives wake up, so maybe Lou and I can do that. That'd be fun. It's 7 o'clock Central Time, I believe, which is over there. It'll be like 6 or 5. We need to try to do that Sunday morning if we can.
Okay,
all right.
I got the chance to talk to Eric.
We're going to be in Las Vegas.
You know that Eric said that he, based off of the face, right? So him and his other partner are rocking and rolling. He's got some hair on his face. Eric's got no hair on his face, so he's saying that he's the car guy, and the other's the subprime hero rocking it out. But we had some great time with them last night in the think tank.
They honor us all the time.
Incredible people that are out there. Man,
we got Melissa Hibden. Hello, Melissa. How are you doing this morning? And of course, you got Scott Rising. This is my man, dude. Scott is an amazing, and his beard is even more amazing.
Yeah, that beard's epic, man.
It is epic. I saw a picture of him without his beard, and I was like, what?
I know, right? That just popped up, right? Since Scott's listening. Yeah, that just popped up like his wedding picture or something.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's Scott? Like, yeah, the beard just total transformation.
Completely different. But we love it, Scott, man. Thank you for being here, folks. We're excited. We got Mr. Turbo in the house today, and we have 5 questions for you, Turbo. And the very first question.
Hey, by the way, before we get going, I just want to tell you that intro music, never change it. Like I'm off camera going, dun-dun-dun-dun, Yeah, never change that intro music, man. That stuff's awesome.
It is us. I remember when we found that song and we bought the rights to it, we were just so pumped up. We're like, this is perfect, right on the money. We went through a lot of songs to find the right one that would match our feeling. Yeah, so that was it.
I was jamming out at 8:35 in the morning, man.
That's right, man. And we're glad that you're jamming out. Now we're excited. We got the blood flowing, and that's the whole point, is to get the energized, get that caffeine in there, even if you're not drinking caffeine, right? So we're pumped up. First question for you, brother. 5-liner. Right. First one. It is your why. What drives you every single day to wake up and say, I'm turbocharging this day? What is that?
Yeah, to change people's lives. This is an easy one for me. I live it. About 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that now, I hired Renee Stewart as a coach.
Awesome.
And so I used her for probably about 6 or 8 months then. And one thing that she had me do, and this changed my life, honestly, is she had me do my 100th birthday exercise and live my 100th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And you guys know me a little bit. I'm a meditator, deep thinker, kind of spiritual like that. And, so it mimicked meditation to me. And so what I did was to kind of go to a quiet place and live my 100th birthday. I've written it all out. I know the way she taught me to do it was see every single detail. Where are you sitting? Why are you sitting there? What's it mean to you? Who's walking up the driveway? Who shows up first? What does my daughter at 73 look like? Does she have kids? Is she married? What is she saying? Who's there? Listen into conversations organically. Don't force things to happen, but kind of just have this like weird, crazy meditation moment of like what that day means to turn 100 years old. And if you don't get your why out of that day,
you don't have one.
Right.
You don't have one.
You're not looking for
you don't have one.
No,
because,
that is a very cool way to have perspective. I love that, man. That's awesome.
And so what it did for me is it realized, have you ever seen that Successories photo? Like, it doesn't matter in 100 years what your bank account is. And, but it matters if you're, important in the life of a child. To me, it was very similar to that Successories photo that I've always kind of loved. And it was, nobody was talking about what kind of car you drove, what kind of house you lived in. Nobody's talking about how much money you had. The conversations I was listening in on were, I'm glad I met him. He changed my life. He was authentic. I don't know what I would have done in this moment of my life without my friend being there. He guided me. He mentored me. One of the conversations I remember listening into was my daughter, who you guys know works at our company now, listening into a conversation with her with somebody I started a business with. He was saying to her, I have a better life because I met him, those kinds of things. That's my why. It's personal and professional growth for all, starting with me, obviously, outwardly to my family and my wife and kids, and then to our employees and to our clients. It's my why is to get up in the morning and change people's lives and make sure that they're better personally and professionally. And every single thing that I do, I feel if I accomplish that, then my life's going to be pretty good.
Man,
I know that. That's a fact. You're not just saying that, folks. I know Troy. Yes. Now, granted, like I said, I've only met him in moments and had great times with him every single time. We've had great conversations. We've done some Zoom meetings together. We've talked about each other's past, but no doubt that is 100% facts, folks. He's not just saying that for the camera. He really cares about his family. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen him with his daughter. I've seen him with everything, his family, what he's doing right now, and how he's trying to raise your son. And you do some great stuff, man. You're an amazing guy, and he's 100% right. That is how you need to look at that, folks, man. It's not about how much money you have, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Money makes life great.
Listen, I love it.
Me too. I do too. And it's not about the how. It is, but it's nice to have those things, right? But at the end of your life, when you're nearing the sunset of your life, it's about the legacy you left. It's about the people that you've influenced. It's about the love that you've left on this planet that's going to continue after you leave. That's the thing. How will you be remembered? How will you be remembered?
I'm in the middle. Listen, I'm going to just put this out there for you guys. You know that about eight years ago or so, I guess it was, I published Turbocharge Your Life, right?
Yes.
So I'm in the middle of writing another book right now, and it's really all about legacy. It's all about the why. It's, why are we doing what we're doing? What's it matter? And for me, I'm a big believer that you don't, and I know this isn't car guy stuff, but it goes to your question of why. For me personally, I don't think that, you know, when you expire physically that you're gone. You know,
Nope.
my dad's been gone 10 years and I think I work harder now to make him proud than I ever have, you know, and you know, everything he taught me, you know, and I'm just using him as an example, my mom, my grandfather, you know, I just feel like and you guys know I just lost my brother 2 weeks ago. That sucked. You know, I just think that you live on, you know, and that's your legacy. And you know, how much of that can you do? How can you impact lives even when you are gone? And how long does that last generationally? So yeah, man, I'm with you. You and I are on the same page when it comes to, you know, why we're doing what we're doing. It's all about the legacy.
Absolutely,
Man.
that legacy is key, and that's in place. And to be clear, everybody, we 100% believe that we are eternal beings. The Bible even says that before you were created in your mother's womb, I knew you. So after this this shell of a life expires, right, and we do what we're supposed to do here, there is more and there is beyond. The great thing is that we get the opportunity to be in this moment in time now. We were picked and we were chosen to be alive now so that we can impact the people inside of the world that we are designed to impact. And I am so glad that I am alive at a time where I get to see Troy do his thing. We get to learn from him. We get to speak with him. And we get to also, like on this show, we get to highlight him. But we also get to learn from him a little bit.
Oh, man.
There is so much of a bank of knowledge that's tied up in this incredible car guy right here that I wish we could just open that vault up and spill it out.
You know, that's the beautiful part. You know,
we can open it up.
We're going to open up as much as we can in the time that we have today, folks. This would take for a long time to be able to get all the information. Like Troy said a moment ago, what he's talking about isn't just applying to automotive. This applies to life. Understand that, you know, when we talk about automotive, Lou and I, that's what we're passionate about, but we're also passionate about growth in life.
That's right.
In family, in love, whatever it is, with your faith, with your whatever that you have, with whatever that you're looking for, we want to be able to impact on that, because life is about that journey. Life is about it 100%. It's not about the beginning. It's not about the end. It's about that time in between. How are you spending that time in between, and what are you leaving, and what impression are you putting on this planet? You know, a lot of us, it's okay. We have bad days. There's no one that's perfect on this planet. That's why there's the biggest room in the world. It's the room for improvement, right? And that's the thing that I love about what we do. Yeah, we're leaders. We're all examples of what you can do and how you could become things. But we all the reason why we are where we're at is because we're always looking for that room for improvement.
That's right.
You know, and I love that. And, you know, man, this is already impactful. I'm already excited about this interview so far. So I know this. I want to just keep talking about the why. I can keep going, but
that's an all day long conversation. The why, man.
It really is.
Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Brian. I see you guys just joined. So
what's
good morning,
up?
good
morning, Facebook user.
We got Eric Sanchez Barbosa. What's going on all the way from Texas, man? I can't wait to come down and visit. But yeah, there's amazing people. Danny, love you, brother.
Yes.
Great people. Brian Ortega, genius when it comes to marketing. One of the best marketers I've ever met, dude. Just so fun and so different, man. I love Brian. I'm so glad he's in my network. We just have the best network in the world, I swear.
And you guys are building a good one. I saw all the people that you've already interviewed, and I thought, man, I am late to the party. You had some rock.
And that was the first season. That was first season. That ended. That was all the way up to like beginning of this year, the year before. Now we're onto a whole new season, and it's been even more impactful. We've really.
It'd be a 50-minute intro if we dropped everybody in there right now.
We're gonna have to make some different.
Do the same song the whole time. But seriously, listening to the why and understanding, folks, why it is that we take that why as the needle on the end of this thread to weave together this entire show. We understand that why does impact many other people. Again, we're honored to have other show hosts in here, other creatives, other incredible car guys, understanding that your why and doing what you do helps to ignite that why inside of somebody else. When I see Troy being the best version of himself or expressing how it is he's supposed to live to his full capacity, it inspires me that one, not only do I have the ability to do so, but I have the liberty to do so.
There you go.
Right. And understanding that you doing you to the fullest helps to empower somebody else to do them. Again, much shout out to Eric and Joe from the Service Drive live show, telling us that we've helped to impact them. Well, brother,
blesses my heart when he says that.
We are encouraged by that, but there's something inside of them that needs to come out. And Troy does a great job of helping to point at somebody, help pull out of them what needs to come out of them, and help make the best version of them come out, whether he knows it or not, right? It makes me better having a conversation with him. And his why is fused into all of that. But no matter what industry he would have made it in, he would be accomplishing great things. My question for the car guys and car gals that are out there, we want to know, Troy, Spring, Mr. Turbo, what made you come and turbocharge the auto industry? What brought you to us?
So, little secret, you can figure out how old I am when I tell you this, but it's my 35th year. I sold my first car in 1987. I was 18 years old. Ooh. And the why at that point was I was broke. I owed my dad $500, and I answered an ad to sell cars. At that age, I guess I was a little ahead of my time when in the interview, the guy said, why should I hire you? I said, what other 18-year-old has read The Art of the Deal and How to Master the Art of Selling?
Damn.
And he said, yep, you're hired. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
My why at the time was I felt like, I felt like I didn't want to be stagnated by just a regular job. Even at 18, I really just wanted to, to explore what it meant to have kind of unlimited opportunity. And so I got that job, and, honest to gosh, I got to tell you guys, I never looked back. I just never, ever looked back. Sold that first car. I was kind of blessed, I guess. I had great managers and a good support system in those very early days. I learned, the right way to go about the car business from every angle. And then kind of early on, I had this goal of becoming a general manager. I looked at my general manager when I was like 22 years old and went, man, that guy's got a cool life. I want to be him. So that was kind of a goal of mine. I did that kind of mid 30s. So I did, at the height of my retail career, I managed 4 stores. And had 4 general managers that kind of, answered to me, and it was at a group of 11 stores. So I really learned a lot about the retail space at that point. But how it gets started, man, that's 35 years ago. It was really, I owed my dad $500. And by the way, I'll tell you, this is awesome. This is so cool. So I grew up pretty conservative in New Hampshire, with very conservative parents. And when I gave him back the first $500 after my first paycheck in 1 week in 1987, my dad looked at me like, how did you get that money in a week? I said, I sold a couple cars. So that was back in the days where you had like a slip and they just paid you like weekly. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty awesome. I'm like, here's your money. And I never looked back. It was awesome.
Yes,
it is. That's the thing I love about automotive is that, as a salesperson, automotive, there's a lot of instant gratification that you get. It's not, the deals go quicker. It's not like buying a house or selling any real estate. Even selling an RV can take months, Right. So like it's literally you sell a car, they deliver, it gets funded very quick, you get paid at the end of the week. Yeah. And it was I remember those, I used to get the pink slips almost. They were like, or yellow slips. I can't remember. They used to bring me these little slips. I got them put away. I saved every one I've ever done, but they've given me the slips and I would look at them like, cool, I made some money. You knew that at the end of the week. You're good. Right. Yeah. You're like, oh, I got a check. It was a lot of fun to get it that way. Instant gratification. It was fun to put cash in your pocket. I remember my very first big check, I had it was thousands of dollars and I had cashed it all. I was like, yeah. I want this cash. And I go to McDonald's of all places. Right. And I'm there and I happen to run into one of my old friends. And I remember I was trying to brag. I was feeling so good. I was like, dude, look at this. I did this in 2 weeks, man. This is how, and he was like, dude, you shouldn't carry around money like that. People are going to jack you.
And by the way, I just saw Live Free or Die. I didn't see who that was. My apologies.
Charles.
Yeah. Hey, Charles. My first car was sold in New Hampshire. Live Free or Die, man.
That's right.
First 29 years of my life there. It was great times.
That's awesome. Charles Higgins, a good friend of ours. He's incredible car guy. He will
sneak up on you. Yeah. He will just show up in the showroom out of nowhere. He's 3 hours away. He's done it multiple.
Drove all the way here, and he's like, doesn't let you know. He might send like a message on on your posts that
says, "What are you guys doing today?
What are you guys doing today?" And all of a sudden, he's like, boom, he's at your store. You're like, whoa, what's up, Charles Higgins? So we always call it being Higgins. Yeah. So that's like our thing. If someone shows up, or we go show up someone with unannounced. But welcomed, of course. It's being Higgins, and I love Charles for that. Charles, now when you come visit, bro, we always got free time. Come check us. As long as we're not out of town, come by the cafe. You know the deal. I love you for being here today. And I didn't know that he was from New Hampshire, so that's really cool. Small world.
Great state.
Small state.
So that's really cool that you guys know not know each other, but from the same areas. But that being said,
yes,
exciting, man. I love that you're in the business. The business needed you, and I think you needed the business too. And that's what's so cool. It was one hand shaking the other, and it just kept developing and kept growing. Now, as you were coming up, now your first motivation was obviously to get some money to pay back your pops.
Yep.
But what kept you driving, and who showed you pivot? So what I mean by that is we all have mentors in this. You know, I look at you as a mentor. I look at Glenn Lundy as a mentor. I look at a lot of people. El Patron is a mentor of mine. For you, as you've been coming up in this game, who has been somebody that's mentored you, or people that have mentored you?
Yeah, man, I've had a bunch. I've been really lucky, you know, throughout different periods of life. You need a different mentor. You need a little different guidance, you know, somebody as you kind of continue to elevate your game. So I'll take you through a couple that I think were really important to me. One was a guy by the name of Mitch Cook. Mitch was my general manager when I was 20 years old. He's one of those guys I looked up and said, man, I want to be Mitch.
Yeah,
just a really cool guy. And so he was kind of a bigger city guy. He came from Boston, like Route 128 Oldsmobile. For all those old car guys listening, they'll be like, that was kind of a hammer store back in the day, right?
Very cool.
He comes to our little town of Keene, New Hampshire, and is the general manager of the store that I worked at. And, you know, that was one of those kind of blessings that I got where I learned how to sell a car the right way.
Right.
You know, I was 20 years old and went to work in gray pants, blue blazer, white shirt, red, white, and blue striped necktie. It was our standard issue, uniform, because we were selling import cars in a domestic kind of area.
Yeah.
So everything we did needed to be kind of patriotic.
Right.
And then beyond that, just that kind of discipline that I learned from that. Like, I mean, they would send you home, like wrong color gray, go home. And so, you know, you'd go up to the tower, and Mitch ran a really strict store. And I learned at 20 years old, when I went to the tower, it would be like, hey, Troy, like salesman rushes up. You don't know a whole lot. You're like, hey, these people want to know what their trade's worth. You know, or these people got to go or whatever. So you'd kind of go up to the tower. And the way I was trained in the very, very early days was my sales manager would slow everything down, you know, and he'd go, hey, Troy, who do you have? I'd be like, I got John and Susie. And where do they live? And do they have any kids? And I'd be like, well, I got to talk about the car deal. No, I want to know if you know your people. You know, so it was like, I learned real quick, I better go to the tower and know who I have, where they live, where they bought their last car, if they have kids, what they do for sports. I had to know everything about them, and not only know everything about them, then all of a sudden we start talking about the car deal. And again, I mean, this is like standard tower stuff, right? You know, 20 years old, going to the tower, and we get to the car stuff, and they'd say, you know, do we have selection? And I'd say, yeah, they're on a Mazda 626. And did they drive it? If you said no, they just pointed. Go do your job, then I'll do mine. Right. So
I love that.
I mean, I was 20 years old, and I would go to the tower and I would hear, again, thanks to Mitch and his training, it would go through all that whole process. Did they drive it? Yes. Okay. And what do they love about it? What do they dislike about it? Okay, great. Did you do a service walk? Right? Did you sell the the dealership, and did you take them through that whole process? Yes. And if the figures and terms are agreeable, are they ready to take delivery now? Yes. Great. Okay, give me your worksheet. Like, I couldn't hand a worksheet to my desk manager until I knew my customer, knew them well, had selection, drove a car, did a service walk. I mean, the whole 9 yards, unless I went up to the tower and said, I'm stuck. So, first mentor, Mitch Cook, because without that discipline of learning how to sell a car.
Shout out to Mitch Cook, man. That is exactly right. You need to know your customers, build rapport, qualify them, show them around, do your job. Because when you spend this much time, you can't see it, but this much time outside, this is how much time you spend negotiating, my friends. It's so important.
Agreed. Yeah, that was what I was taught. This much time building value, this much time closing the deal.
That's it. It works that way.
So that took me through a long time. Like, even when I was a general manager and a platform manager in retail, I taught that process. I remember a time, and this goes to another mentor of mine, very good friend of mine, Joe Balby. He taught me a lot when I was a platform manager. So once I started running stores, he was a guy that ran all 11, and I just learned a lot from him. And I remember this one day I was running a Hyundai store, and it kind of all came together, just control. And it was a rock and rolling day, man. I'm talking like 95 ups. It wasn't even a super sale. I just was, one of the reasons I got into advertising is when I was at that Hyundai store, I really learned how to drive traffic like crazy. So I had like 95 ups in the day, and all of a sudden the tower's getting swarmed with sales guys. And again, right, you got this different level of people, and one guy's a pro and doing everything right, and the next guy's going, hey, these people want to know what their trade's worth. So desk is getting swarmed. And I remember I ran out to the parts department, found some red tape, ran back to the desk, which had three sales managers working deals. I put tape 8 feet away, apart from the desk. And I just said, everybody bought, and it was a Saturday. It was awesome. It's just too much fun, right? So I got everybody behind the red line. You come up and we'll focus on each deal one at a time. So we went straight back into what Mitch taught me, and this was 20 years later. It was, who do you have? And we slowed everything down, and we ended up having a record-breaking day. And, everybody kind of learned, don't rush through the deal, slow it down no matter how busy you are, and work one-on-one with the sales manager, make sure the deal's set up properly, make sure, and TO'd at the proper time. So, but I would tell you that one of the mentors at that point for me was Joe. I learned an awful lot about management, hiring, and unfortunately firing at that time as well. I mean, when you're running 4 stores with 200 employees, that does happen, but the proper way to go about running a business, with your heart in the right place, with your ego in the right place, and, making tough decisions. And so that would be my second one, I would guess, at that point in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then, here's somebody that I think third, and I'm missing a lot of people, man. There's been so many.
Well, it's okay. It's like going up and winning a Grammy Award and trying to announce everybody that's done.
Yeah. Look, I could mention so many people. Tracy Myers, Craig Lockard, the likes, the whole 9 yards. And honestly, both of those guys deserve a lot of my attention here on this matter of mentors. When I was first becoming a vendor, I learned an awful lot from Craig and from Tracy, just about this world and how to go, again, kind of about it with the right heart and right mind,
yes.
To build a business without ego and because you see a lot of that in this business, right? There's a ton of ego. It's, and I think sometimes people are a little bit misguided. So I think Tracy and Craig really helped me stay on path there in the early days. Absolutely. And recently, I'll just give a shout out because I love his presence. I love what he's all about. I spent a lot of time talking to David Long.
Great guy.
I just think he's got a really good executive presence about him.
I've
got a lot of clients too right now that have taught me a lot. So, point blank, just really, if you're a client of mine and you're listening, you know how much you changed my life and I've learned from you. So there's too many to mention, but I mean, my gosh, there's I'm so lucky to have the relationships I have with our clients.
Well, you get more and more enriched the more excellence you allow to have poured into you. And you are an abundance of knowledge. And we talked about it earlier. You are a bank, a plethora of information locked into you. But it's because you're so receptive to having great people pour into you. Like you were poured high quality car guy tactics and understanding from the very beginning. From the very start, you were told how to actually get it done faster by slowing it down a little bit, by allowing everything to be processed. The importance of even working inside of a martial art or working inside of dance, you slow the tempo down so that you can line up the steps, the motions, the movements, and the forms, so that then when it's time to activate in real time, it's faster than you can even think. You automatically do it in the timing that it has to happen. And we absolutely love that. That's some car guy isms that you have to have. Car guys and car gals, understand we are in a fast-paced business. And the communication with the customer can often get as fast as we're thinking in our head that we need to go. And we're missing the translation between us and them. And we have to slow that down for them just a little bit. One, to make sure that we even heard what they said. So many times we are so quick to say everything that's happening at the store that we don't even understand what the customer is saying to us to help us give them what it is that they need. And we need to slow it down and build that relationship. That's the key. The only thing that's going to make sure that you still are helping that customer down the road past this one transaction is a relationship. And that relationship is always going to be anchored to the great conversation that you have in the meantime, the anniversaries that are coming up, the great family victories, somebody's graduating, whatever those are, give room for those as you become a person to the customer instead of just the one facilitating the transaction. And I love that. But at the same time, you've had great people pour into you and you've given them room to do so.
Even people he's pouring into, he's learning something from. Understand, folks, that every conversation you have, there's something to be learned, good or bad. Every perspective that you run into, I don't care if whatever perspective, I'm talking every perspective, even if it seems completely left field, right? Those are important because you're learning something from that.
Might remind you of, oh, that's why I do this way.
That's why I do it this way, or why I'm going to do this even better, because you want to make sure that it's done right. Now, we all need to understand that. So, but the best is when you have a conversation where you're pouring into somebody and then they throw back at you and you're like, whoa, mind blown, right? And it happens quite a bit if you are listening and if you slow down. That's what I love about that. That whole translation that he mentioned at the beginning when he was talking about Mr. Mitch Cook, when he was talking about how you go out there and he's asking you questions before he would even let you present a pencil. Slowing it down, that translates to life, folks. When you're building relationships with people, listen, slow it down. Relationships don't have to go that fast. Just like meeting your future wife, you know, if you went too fast in a lot of cases, relationship didn't work. May have been a lot of fun, but it didn't work out because you went too fast. You didn't learn each other completely, right?
And by the way, I'll jump in there real quick. And you know, I don't want to be too warm and fuzzy and have people say, "Are you freaking kidding me, Egypt?" But you know, a little mentor in my life right now would be my wife.
Oh, I love that. That is true, though.
You know, we've been together about 10 years, and I would say, you know, just blunt and honest, like I've learned so much from her about life. And, you know, they always say behind every good man's a great woman, and, you know, no BS, guys. Like, you know, mentors don't have to be in business. They can be, you know, right next to you. They can be family members, wife, whatever, you know, it's just those people ground you. And, you know, I get up and I go to work and I'm a better version of myself because I have so much support at home. You know, so for what it's worth, you know, it's not a shameless type plug or anything. It's just if you're really grounded at home, I think it helps at work.
That is the foundation, folks. If you want to see somebody that's truly at peace and successful inside of their business, you'll notice that there's something going on at home. That fire, that identity is core at home. And I think that's the big thing that happened during the pandemic. I think that was when everybody got pulled away. Everybody had to go focus in at home, right? They started to figure out the relationships they have a little bit more, right? They're spending more time with their spouse. They're spending more time with their kids. They're spending more time with themselves to figure out, man, I like this. I don't like this. I want this. I want more of it. I know it gave me a bit of an addiction to having my wife around so much.
Yeah, me too.
To being home so much. You know what I mean? I wanted more of that. And the thing is that all of those things still work together for the good, as they always do, as they always. But I know that my wife basically raised this boy.
My wife's still raising me, you know, and I love that she, you know, she keeps me accountable. She keeps me wanting to be more. You know, I love to impress my wife. You know, when I can impress her, I know I did something special, right? It's so fun. Like I could tell her about all these special shows I do and all these people, you know, pat me on my back, and she's like, "Oh, that's cool, Fred. Yeah, cool." But when I do something real, like something that's really impactful, my wife will let me know, and that feels so great. She really has. And I've been with my wife for about 20 years now. I've been married for 17, and it's been an amazing voyage with her. It's been a up and down. But I love that you said that as a mentor. That is like huge. Like you're the first person's ever said that, and I love that because I feel the same way, my friend.
I mean, look, it just works. And what you just said is so funny. There's times when I'll say something to my wife, and if anybody who knows her will say, "Yeah, he's dead on right about this." And it'll just be kind of blasé to her. Like it'll be a big deal to me, and I think it's super cool. And she'll just be like, "Yeah, it's good."
Yeah, that's my wife.
Right? Yeah, like what you just said. Like I know if I impress her, then it was actually pretty good.
It was something special at that point, you know. But don't get me wrong, she definitely encourages, loves, and does all these things, and really has a lot of faith in me, and puts a lot of trust in what I do. You know, I travel all over the country. you have to have a trusting relationship to do that
Yeah.
and not have any friction, right? And man, does she allow me to do that? But she had to raise me to be able to do that, right? It's like sending your 18-year-old kid to college.
Yeah.
She spent 17 years. She's like, I think you're ready to go to college now, Fred. Let's go. So no, I'm glad that you honor your wife. Your wife is obviously, when you said behind every good man, there's a great woman, and I believe beside, or actually in my case, in front of every great man.
Fair. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, because they lead the way. They do, and they do it with such class, and they don't need any accolades. Like, you didn't have to say that to make her happy, but you did it because of your heart.
She'd probably be mad I said it, but whatever.
I know what you mean. That's that. All our wives would get along extremely well.
Yeah.
They're cut
She'd
from
be
the
like,
same
why'd
cloth.
you say that? Because it's freaking true.
Because it's true, and I love you. It's like I was telling my wife, we're going to be at a speaking engagement this weekend on Monday. We're going to have a chance to speak in front of a great group of people, and we're pumped up about it. And we get to talk about our lives. And I keep telling them, I was like, we need to make our wives stand up, but they'll kill us if we do that. But if it wasn't for our wives, please stand up and give them a round of applause. They will kill us if we do that.
Yeah.
I still kind of want to do it.
We're still pushing it. We keep testing it and keep dropping it in there to see if they'd be like, okay.
But they would be so mad at us. They'd be like, you better not do that. I will not stand up. I'm like, oh, you will stand up.
and hey, on that note of the mentor thing, I would just say to anybody listening, like, just look around you. I mean, any interaction that you have with somebody, you can learn something from them. It doesn't need to mean, they don't need to be like the biggest mentor in your life. I just try to learn a little something from everybody I meet. And
love that story.
I think that you can, mentors can come in all shapes, sizes, and can be at any part of your peripheral vision. You don't have to go out and seek like some bigwig. Just learn something from someone.
Absolutely. And I love that you actually said that. Take a look around, especially for those of you that might say, you know what? I don't have a mentor. I don't have anybody. If you pay attention real quick, you're going to notice who is pouring into you. Who are you letting pour into you? Your mentors can also be the news that you let pour into you, the books that you're reading, right? The entertainment that you're paying attention to. What goes in eventually finds its way back out. And that's why it's so important that you do pay attention to those that are pouring into you. If it's the guy that always has a problem on the lot, the guy that's always having an issue with the manager, and you're giving entertainment to that, whether you know it or not, folks, that person's mentoring you and helping to shape your thinking. So I encourage you, do exactly what Troy said. Take a look around you, pay attention to those that are around you. You're going to notice somebody is pouring in and something's coming out as a result of that. So be aware and be intentional about finding the right people, because man, not everybody is meant to pour into you, and you're not meant to be joined up with everybody, but those that are actually around you. It's a divine setup for your success. Understand that your success is that important, that the people are around you to help you go to the next level. And I think Russ Parr said it a lot. If you don't like the people around you, change the people around you.
Yeah.
On both sides, right? If you're not going to change them, then just change them. Make them different people, right? Be a different person yourself. But inside of that, with the good lessons, the bad lessons, the hard lessons, the easy ones, the great victories, the great businesses being built, all of those things. What is it that Troy has run into that has given him a good hit on the chin, maybe a solid slug in the gut, right? Inside of his growth? What has been the hardest lesson that Troy has had to learn getting to this point in your career?
I'll start here because it's always fresh in my memory. I try never to forget it. The economic downturn of 2009 was really hard on me. I ended up going through a divorce, and I lost just about everything, even though I was awesome at my job. I mean, this is and I'm not being egotistical. I was just really good at it.
Absolutely.
I had a great job at that point, and then systematically I lost 55-60% of my income. Not because I was bad at the job, just the economy wasn't there and the numbers weren't there. And as hard as we pushed, a lot of people saw constriction at that point, and that constriction hit me really, really hard. I was just at a point where, I had a lot of expenses from, the issues that I dealt with in life, and won't go into that, but Turbocharge Your Life talks about that a little bit in the book. Okay. And so at that point, I started Dealer World, this company, now that has, between that and Dealer Funnel, 45 employees. And I started it with $65. And I've told that story a bunch of times, and it's getting kind of old, and it's not real super relevant. But when you ask me the hardest lesson I learned, when I was 40 at the time, ish. And, I'm sitting at home with $65 to my name. And when I say that, I mean, I'm talking like that's it. There was nothing else. There was nowhere else to go. Okay. I've never really put it this way. So I gave you some new content here.
Awesome.
I'm standing outside of the Coinstar, and that's how I knew I had $65. I just taken all my change and cashed it in. My son was 4 at the time. Outside of Coinstar, there's a Cold Stone Creamery, and he wanted ice cream. So by the time I got done buying him ice cream, I had $61. And I was super mad because I love ice cream. So I didn't buy anything for myself because I thought I need gas money. I need, I can't, I'm gonna make the kids smile. But so the lesson I learned at that moment, which I'll get to here, is, if you find yourself in any position, you don't have to be as down and out as I was. I mean, I was at the breaking point. I was at the worst of the worst of the worst. I was, I'll just say it out loud. It is what it is. I'll be transparent. I was suicidal. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, it was just bad. Right. So I think the lesson, and the hardest lesson I learned in life, was, stop wallowing in self-pity. There was a moment, like a click moment, like an epiphany moment when I left that Cold Stone Creamery. Like, I'm done losing. I'm done wallowing. I'm done being upset. I'm done being depressed. I'm like, this is going nowhere. The economy sucks, is what it is. Everybody's going through that. Like, look in the mirror and freaking do something about it. Like, be done with this shit. And it was an epiphany moment for me that changed my life, because from that point on, life just got better. I started looking at life as compounding interest. So, and I wrote about that in Turbocharge Your Life, I think. It was this cool thing. I thought, if I just start eating better, because I was eating like crap. Like, there was a moment, everybody has this moment, like, you could go this way or that way. It doesn't matter, everybody has that choice. I was so far gone at that point. Like, I could have become, and no disrespect to anybody here, please understand this. I'm just being brutally honest. Yeah. Like, I could have just started drugs or drinking, or, I wasn't working out. I just wasn't doing a lot of things right. And so I was gaining weight. I was eating poorly. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't really drinking or drugs. I've never really been that guy, but I was depressed. So I was drinking a couple of beers right before I went to bed, just hoping the barley and hops would make me tired. There was just a moment where I said, I think if I just start doing things right, it'll have the power of compounding interest. Yes. Like, if I just work out, I'll feel a little better, and then I'll want to eat better, and then I'll look a little better, and then I'll have a little more energy, and then I think that lesson that I had at that moment, that epiphany, when I decided to start just doing everything as well and as good as I could and trust the process, paid off in massive, massive dividends. And it was a hard lesson, but a great one.
Oh, man.
Bro,
said so much right
Thank
there.
you for sharing that with everyone, because I think every one of us has been through a moment like that in our life, or may go through a moment like that in our life. It's
and you got to ask yourself at that moment, no matter what it is, it didn't have to be as far as I was. When literally, I was at the breaking point. That's what sucks. A little bit about what I'm writing in this new book is, like, why do we have to wait for that click moment? Like, why do we have to wait for somebody to die of cancer and smoking or something for that to hit that next person and go, wow, I just lost my best friend from high school and maybe I should quit smoking. Like, why do we have to wait for these crazy moments, for epiphanies and click moments to happen? Why can't we force them? Why can't we look ahead and say, if I got that call, I would quit smoking? So you know what, that call's coming, because it is what it is. In that moment, I don't know why I had to go so far down that rabbit hole to the point of literally being suicidal before I had that click moment. But I'd like to teach people that no matter what you're going through in life, like, as soon as you feel like I'm going down the wrong path, like to force that click epiphany moment a little further ahead of when it would normally happen and change your life a little quicker.
100%.
I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but
No, it makes all the sense. And
There's
that's you turning that role on that third question we asked you about mentorship. Now you're being that mentor through your experience, you know, and I think that's what you just did. You just mentored a lot of people who are watching this right now, or people who are watching on the replay later, is understanding that even if you have 65, if you have zero money, nothing, and you think
Buddy,
that
I had nothing. There was no retirement money. There was nothing else.
But what you had was ability still, you know, and you have the ability.
I banked on me.
And you banked on yourself, and you made the decision. Fuck this. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I got to keep growing, and I'm not going to allow this environment that everyone's going through. And that's what I loved about what you said was during that time, everybody was going through the whole United States had an economic issue. Automotive
it was horrific.
Was crazy, you know. So to understand that and know that, hey, it's not just you, wasn't your fault. It was just one of those things that happens. Don't get me wrong, especially when something like that, when it's not even your fault, makes it even feel worse a little bit at first. You're like, dude, I did everything right. But the world
I remember I was like at that point, I had a lot of employees that I was responsible for.
Yeah, it's tough.
I remember saying to all of them, look, I mean, and I work for a pretty aggressive organization. So on a typical day before it, you know, all that stuff hit, you know, it would be like, I need better numbers. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, let's go. You suck. You know what I mean? So, and so I remember in those times, like, you know, we all had a little bit more of a heart, and I would go around and I'd talk to people and try to mentor them, you know, before I left that job, and just talk to them, say, hey, look, it's not you. We didn't just all of a sudden wake up and suck at this.
No.
Like, you know, we're all still extremely talented at this. It's just not working quite like it used to. So we got to dig deep and get through this. And, you know, like I said, it wasn't that we woke up and sucked at it. You know, the times just changed things.
Imagine being a real estate investor at that time.
Oh,
crap, right? You know, it was a crazy time, you know, and before that crash, to buy things, especially a home, was a lot easier, you know, and ever since then it's really changed. We all had to adapt, and we do, and that's what we do. And you've proven that, and you've did that, and you said, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. Then we had this economic crash that just happened last year, and it's still somewhat going through the trickle effect of that. And yet you were able to do well, and you were able to stay positive and keep moving because of that first experience, and knowing that, hey,
I was quicker, right? I will say this. I was way quicker at what to do this time around.
Guarantee it.
And, so pivoting, we just pivoted like crazy.
That's great. And you kept your head up.
I got too many different pivots and things to talk about. We don't have enough time for that, but I would say, I would say that we were really, really ahead of the game and smart about what we did and pivoted quickly. And, you know, I'm proud to say that we went into COVID with 30 employees, and we've got 45 now.
That's what I'm saying.
So we're up 50% in employment. We're not up 50% in profits. Matter of fact, I might be down in profits, but the company's growing, and we're doing a lot of things right. We're setting the stage for what's to come.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you are.
But I think we did a lot of really smart things this time. And I think it's because I learned a lot that first time back in 2009.
There's no doubt, because you lived through that first time. You made it. You didn't die. Your life was good. Your family has grown. You have grown, you know, and in your business, you know, you've created things. You've become a creator. You know, and that's something that I absolutely love about you. And I'm so glad that you went through that lesson. I'm glad you only had that $65 to your name at that point, because who knows where you'd be today if that didn't happen, right?
No regrets, pal. You always look back and say, you know, I was put in that position for a reason. I wouldn't be the man I am today if I didn't go through that.
There's no failures unless if you learn something from something that was a misfortune in the past, that is actually a benefit. That is something that is what was needed at that time. That was divine, man. And I
want to point to that.
I love that.
I want to point to a couple things that are inside of there, folks, because you may have missed it there, because it is a ugly woe is me moment where people often do fall off of the fence. They do fall onto the other side, where they end up picking up the bottle. They end up picking up the bottle of drugs, right? Or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, I was this close. I'm telling you right now.
Right. And I can feel that. But I want to highlight a couple of the things that ended up happening. One, a byproduct of the decision that you started to make was actually going to benefit the overall goal to get healthier, right? You didn't have the next ice cream, right? So that ice cream didn't get in you, but he sacrificed when he had $65 to his name, he sacrificed 4 of them that he probably needed, and they needed for more than an ice cream, but he sacrificed that to bring joy to the next generation. And I tend to look a little deeper
Give before you take. I love that.
Right? But he took of that Coinstar dollars that came back out to him. He had $4, took son over there to bring joy, put joy on his face while he's petrified inside of his own heart, inside of his own spirit of what's next. How far am I going to go with the $61 and your ice cream that I'm jealous that you're eating that I can't have, right? He then said, you know what? That is the pivot. That is the moment. He unlocked something inside of him when he deposited something inside of the next generation wholeheartedly because of love. Son wasn't going to be able to pay him back for that or give him anything else. We knew that it was literally a melting object that's going to be away in a short amount of time. And it could seem fleeting. It could seem worthless, but you only had that moment with your son right then and there to bring joy to him. And you did that. And that, I believe, unlocked so many other things.
Lead with love.
And when you did that,
yes,
you started to discover, I'm sure, a lot more of your why and a lot more of the you that's in you. I mean, you hear him, folks. He's walking around while I mean, I just see this Fun with Dick and Jane scene where everybody's running around and they're trying to collect their files and everything's going crazy, right? And you're walking around being like, I know it's crazy out there, but you're not the one that sucks. Right. And trying to encourage people during this mayhem moment. You're still doing that. And that turning into the business where when you have a bad day in business, because I'm sure we all do.
Oh, I still have them. Yeah.
Right. But you don't have that, man, I don't have the money for my ice cream bad day business anymore. Right.
And whenever you start feeling that way, one last thing back to mentors. This past year, this is important.
Bring it.
I hired this guy, Dr. Choi. He was a brain hacker. I don't know if you've heard of brain hacking, but I needed a next level. Like I felt like my business was growing. I was getting to a place that I didn't really, I hadn't ever been before, and I needed to grow and feel comfortable. And so, long story short, this guy taught me your brain can only operate in one of 2 places. That's survival and or executive mode. Executive mode doesn't mean work. It just means you're alert, you're thinking, you're in the moment, you're making decisions, right? You're in control. And so you're either in executive mode or survival mode, and your brain can't operate in both simultaneously. It's literally one or the other. And most adults spend 70% of their life in survival. And I said to him, when I built my company, is it possible that I was in survival 95 to 99% of the time? Because I don't even know that I ever knew what executive mode looked like. I was always back against the wall from that $65 day. And I said, I think I operate better there. And he said something to me that was super profound. And this changed my life this past year, because it was right during that moment that we're talking about, the secondary kind of, meltdown of the economy that we just went through. And he said, Troy, I know that you think you're better with your back against the wall because that's how you did it. But ask yourself this question. If you were in executive mode and you were literally thinking through things better, how much more could you have accomplished this past 10 years? and
I love that.
I'm not super religious, but I'm very spiritual, and I tell you guys that a lot. Like I'm not really Buddhist, but I believe in the 4 noble truths of like, we all get old, we all get sick, we all die, and that's suffering. And then suffering, we place a lot of suffering on ourselves that it doesn't matter. Like the cars, the houses, the this, the that, the Joneses, like none of that shit really matters. But a lot of people place a lot of more external suffering on themselves because they think that stuff matters. They cling and they crave to it, and so anyways, when he taught me this, one of the things that really unlocked a lot of potential for me was whenever I get that way, and look, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but when you go into survival mode, what happens is your body shuts down, your digestive system shuts down, you get tunnel vision. So that's like when like a sports guy gets the nervous poops. I don't mean to be, like you're like, oh, I gotta poop. I'm nervous. Like that's survival mode in action, and you get tunnel vision. You can only see this. You don't really, again, no executive mode. You can't really see what's going on around you. And so here's a little something for anybody listening. If you go into a mode during the day or whatever, where you feel like, man, I'm not in control, I'm worried, about this. This might happen. I might lose a client. I might, whatever that could be that's causing you to be in that mode. He taught me this crazy little thing. He said, Troy, just tell yourself you're not being killed at the moment. Like there's no bear about to eat you. There's no alligator coming at you. Nobody pointing a gun at your head. Like you have so I live my life right now in a really cool way that I never did before. And that is no matter what happens to me today, I'll have shelter, I'll have food, I'll have love, and that's all I need. And so all the money becomes a game, right? And now it's like playing a video game. It doesn't matter. You can lose it all. You're like, whatever, I still have life. Like, think about this. If you put quarters in a video game, and this is pretty philosophical, might lose some people here, but if you put quarters in a video game, what's a kid really care about? He doesn't care about whether or not he racks up points. He cares about whether or not he can keep playing and he doesn't die.
Yeah.
Come on.
Life is exactly the same way. And that's what this guy taught me was just keep playing. As long as you're not being killed and the game's not over, just keep playing. And don't worry about it because, nobody's got a gun to your head.
It's like the old video game Super Contra where you can put in the code and you had eternal, you could just keep moving and keep going.
Well, that's kind of what he unlocked with me. He unlocked with me, like every time that you feel even a stomach ache coming on, that nervousness, let that be a trigger that you're not in executive mode, you're in survival mode, and I'll teach you how to. That's the brain hacking.
I love that. That is genius.
A lot of money to learn it. True. Look, just whenever you feel that way, I'm not being killed, and get back into executive mode, get back into a place where you're operating at a higher level, and your day is just going to be better.
Right.
That is great advice, and I'm glad that you shared that with our audience, man. And that's needed, folks. Listen to that. When you get to that moment, you're not going to die. It's just like you said, you're in survival mode, so your body gets that chemical reaction, right?
It does.
Flip your brain. Your brain is so powerful. The power of your thoughts, the power of what you think, is so powerful. So understand that that's what you need to flip the brain to. You're not going to die. Everything's going to be all right. It's okay to make mistakes too. It's okay to do something and realize, I did it the wrong way. Whatever. You're still alive. You still get to live. You still get to go home, have shelter, food, love. Those are the things we really want. Yeah, we want recognition. We want to win. We want to do all these things. We're natural that way. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you're going to go home and you're going to be comfortable. So don't get so nervous about things. Don't allow that to overcome you so much that you cannot perform what you want to do, what in your heart is the right thing to do. So do those things and listen to what Troy, Mr. Turbo, is saying, man. I'm excited about that. And that leads to my fifth question, man. And I'm excited about this question because I got a feeling you can have a great answer for it. We all go through these things. We've talked about your why. We've talked about what got you in this business, 18 years old, need to pay your dad back, right? But it was a blessing for you. You found your calling, right? And then you went into your mentors, and you've had some great mentors throughout the years, man. You talked about a lot of people, but you really picked out Mitch Cook, Joe Balby, and of course, you just talked about Dr. Troy. And I think that's great that you went through all those things. And of course, we just talked about greatest lesson learned, and we can keep digging into this. This is an amazing thing, and I'm so glad. As crazy as this sounds, I'm so glad you had $65 to your name that day, because you would not be where you're at today. And who knows, we probably won't even know each other, and we wouldn't be able to share your story with so many people. But here's the other side. Out of all those things, there's been a great reward for all that. What has been your greatest reward for everything that you've done up to this point?
I feel like I figured out early enough in life that legacy matters.
Oh, yes.
And that I'm not going to be, I'm not going to have regrets at the end of this journey. And because of the 100-year birthday party and the way I think, I believe that you move in the direction of your currently dominant thought, no matter what. Like, guy driving down the road sees a billboard for bankruptcy and he's got a couple bill problems. His body moves in that direction because it's his currently dominant thought. Yeah. I feel like somebody who is having a little bit of trouble at home all of a sudden sees somebody else that they think is a little attractive or something, and they move in the direction of the currently dominant thought. Next thing you know, all hell breaks loose at the home front. Like, I'm a really big fan of my favorite quote, and this will get to your answer here, is, if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life in which they have imagined, they will meet with success unexpected in common hours. It is a Henry David Thoreau quote. It's been my favorite for 30 years. And I think I figured out early enough in life to advance confidently in the direction of my dreams. I think that, you know, I've figured out that legacy matters because I don't, you know, the greatest reward is that I feel like I'm going to leave something behind for my kids and everybody who I touch. And it might sound pretentious. It might sound egotistical. But it's not.
Not
I
at
just
all.
feel like that's what I'm here for. Like,
Not at all.
I just feel like I figured that out. That is the reward that I got, that I figured out early enough in life that it's not about me. It's about everybody else that I can touch. It's about the clients that we help. Like, you know, we teach our salespeople. This flows through our company, right? Which is, you know, we don't sell anything. We find people that need help and we help them. That's how we grew our business.
I love you, Troy. Money.
You know, we don't sell anything. If you don't need our help, then I'm not selling you shit. Like, but if your business needs help and I'm smart enough to help you and my experience can help you, then I want to do business with you so that I can help you. I can change that dealer's life. Look, we've had dealers, I'll never mention names, but we've had dealers. I've sat at a guy's lake house and he said, look, if what you're doing for me doesn't work, I'm going to have to sell the lake house. And I looked at him and part of my language said, you're not going to have to sell the fucking lake house.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good enough at what I do. We're saving the lake house, pal.
There
Like,
you go. I love that.
I feel like those are the moments in life that really, really, truly matter. And like I said, you know, the reward for me is I figured that out early enough in life. And it gives me the purpose. My favorite word in the English language is purpose. You know, you met McKenna and we just mentioned Cassidy, my two daughters. If you ask them what my favorite word in the English language is, they'll both tell you purpose. Because I really feel, especially in a young girl's life, as they're growing up and figuring out who they are and you know, where they're going in life, that if they don't have a direction, if they don't have a true north, if they don't have purpose, that it's really easy to get lost, you know. And so again, greatest reward for me is that I figured out my purpose. I figured out what I want to do in life. I figured out how I want to leave it, you know, someday, and I'm enjoying the heck out of the ride.
Brother. Boom, right? That is so money. And I love that you have purpose and that you're putting that, instilling that into your company, your family. And you have your family involved. You got both your daughters in there. You got one working for the dealer funnel and the other one working for Dealer World. And you know, McKenna, I've had the blessing to meet her, and what a soul she has. McKenna, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, hopefully she's listening. Well, if not, she will later. So
yeah,
she loves you guys, man. You guys are literally like rock star celebrities to her. So that's very cool.
Well, we appreciate her.
I think you're not anyways, but you know what I mean? Like, to her, like, it's really it's a thing.
Well, we love her, and she's a special soul too, and she really, really, really cares about you. I could tell. And she definitely cares about what your purpose is. And she's
I've been very lucky that they've listened. You know, like,
yeah. Well, look at her. She went
off.
You know,
they caught on and said, "Hey, you know, I think Dad's got something to teach me."
Yeah, I think so. You know, and she's really doing some amazing things. Like, I was just, you know, she recently moved to San Antonio, and man, what a beautiful town. We had the joy to be there for the NIADA, and man, that was a great little town for us to be in. I went to basic training there. It's been a long time, but I really enjoyed San Antonio this time around with my brother Lou and with everybody else we were there with. And man, it's a beautiful town, great food town, great weather. So you can't really go wrong down that way. I'm excited for her future and excited for her and you working together. That's amazing that you could pass that legacy of growth through her. Man, brother, you're an amazing person, man. And we're so fortunate to have you in our lives. And I look forward to building more relationship with you and seeing how far we can all go. Another 10 years from now, brother, it's going to be an amazing picture of what happens. This automotive industry is having a big pivot, and there's a lot of changes going on right now. And I think that you definitely are on the pulse of all that, and you know what's happening. And we're excited to be sharing that with you and to see where we all grow together. This is what it's about.
You know what I love?
It's love.
Can I interrupt you? You know what I love?
Please. I
love that you guys are the Car Guy Coffee podcast, and we're all car guys, and we hardly talked about it. You know, like what I do for a living and what Dealer World does and Dealer Funnel does. Almost every interview I'm on has got to do with automotive advertising and this, that, the other thing. And this was a really special interview for me because you took it down the path of things I'm truly, truly passionate about, like, you know, life and the why and what we're doing. So just, you know, guys, kudos to you for, you know, for taking things a little bit of a left turn from the average interview. I really appreciate that. That's cool.
Because we believe in that.
We value the people over valuing the company, right? There's a lot that goes into the logos, the looks, the processes, the way that we do business. right? And we can talk about business. That's the thing about this. The authority that we have in the industry is really only based off of who it is that we know really anyway, and who honors us anyway, and who honors you. Folks, know that the people behind the brands are the most valuable thing. The people in the business that you're working in, that is the most valuable. And the reason why this show is designed the way that it is to get you connected and learning about the people behind the brands you see. And Troy, we honor and love the example that you are to the industry. And we definitely want to make sure that we catch a follow-up with you where we can talk way more about the things that are happening with your brand. But
listen, don't even care. This was so cool. I mean, I appreciate it. I would not say no, but I think this was really cool. It's a nice departure to be able to stop talking about, what it is that I do. And this is another one, right? So there's what you do and who you are. And this interview wasn't about what I do. It was about who I am. And that was pretty cool.
But that's what you do also. And that's the craziest thing. It is who you are. And that's what we're about. And that's what your company is based off of. And that's why I love about it. So when people see this, they're not just thinking, oh man, there's no doubt you know what you're doing when it comes to your business. There's no doubt that you're out there helping dealers grow. You don't even have to name any names. It's just, we know this based off of what you are about, your why, the purpose, the mentors, the greatest, lesson that you've learned. And of course your reward. These things really bring it out of you. When we see that drive inside you, all it does is just make us love you more, because that's what it's about. I believe, and I know that my audience fell in love with you that same way. But most of my audience already knows who Mr. Turbo is. Come on,
they know us, they know Troy.
We've talked about you before, and we love what you do. We've had the honor, and you've blessed us by having us come out for the unfair, advantage. I love that, and that was so much fun to be there and be part of that, and in getting there and actually getting to meet you for the first time in person, and just sitting there and just jiving, and it was even more special than I thought it was going to be. And we just look forward to all the other ones. Folks, there's one coming up in Kansas City coming up next year. We will be there. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a great event. Do not miss this event with Troy. It's going to be a lot of fun. You got Troy, you got Tracy Meyer, you got so many special guests.
Yeah, that one's going to be a lot pop too. That's going to be Kansas City.
Come on, Jason Rice, amazing. I love some Jason Rice. Fantastic.
Jason Rice.
Another one of those people out there that I absolutely love. We need to get on a show soon.
He's awesome, man. Yeah, you got to have. He's super cool.
We plan on it, but we definitely wanted to get you on here, Troy, because we love you, man.
I really, back at you guys. Like I said, I'm glad I really genuinely think you guys have a cool thing going on, and just the vibe and the energy is something I wanted to be around. I appreciate you guys and what you're doing, and thanks for all of that.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. But we do want to do this, is let people know how to get a hold of you and your business. Yes. Now that they know how incredible of a person you are, now they just need to know how to get a hold of you. So tell them.
It's right there. It's on screen. Bam. There you go.
That's it. Send him an email, folks. He will reach back out to you. He is all about helping out. If you just need a mentor and you're real and you're somebody that's really wanting to grow, reach out to him. You can reach out to us if you want to go, well, you think Troy, I'll talk to you about Troy. Troy is cool. Troy is one of those ones in this automotive that cares about automotive, folks. We've heard the story. We know what's going on. He's been through it. He's been doing it a long time, folks. He's seen it all in the automotive industry, except for the Model T. He wasn't selling cars back then.
Not quite that.
We're talking about modern car sales, folks, and he's all about that. And I'm so glad that we've had the joy to have you on the show today, that we have a friendship with you, and we look forward to building this relationship even more. Folks,
we need to let you know one thing about Troy.
You know the deal. He's 100% CGC approved. That is our man right there. We're so excited.
I love it, man. Thank you.
Here. Thank you for being here, brother. Folks, for all you all out there, if you guys want to get a hold of him, once again, there's his email address right there. Reach out to him. If you're a business that's looking to grow a little bit, reach out to him.
There's that music.
Troy, we love you. Thank you for being here. Everybody,
guys, thank you. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Man, thank you guys. So
much. Back at you.
Yes. I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we have been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast with the one,
the only, Troy Springs.
Do the thing.
Charge your light on, friends. You guys go out there. Go get his book. He's getting ready to Forgive, Focus, and Fly. That's right. And folks, he's got a book coming out. Stay tuned for that. We'll be announcing that for him soon. As soon as it's released, I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to be one of the first ones to read it. I cannot wait. Brother, God bless you. Blessings to you. Love and everybody, to you and your family and everyone else. Everyone, hello and goodbye. We'll see you all later.
Sure, guys. See you later. Thank you.